I've been having these weird thoughts lately. Like, is any of this for real? Or not? You and I, there's a new
Gamers and gamettes, what is going on? My name is Tanuck127 and welcome back to another FFXIV video. And in today's video, I got a little discussion I wanted to talk about. Just so you know, something that's been on my mind for probably I'm going to say a good while now, at least for the past year or two. And I figured today, was just a kind of a good time to make a video about it. I'll explain to you guys why as we get farther into the video. But before we get into today's video, I do want to give one big fat disclaimer. Everything we're going to talk about in this video is strictly speculation. I do have a source that does point to the fact that this really could happen one day, but mostly we're just going to be talking about speculation, opinions on what possibly could happen, and this is just a very opinionated video, so take everything said in here with a grain of salt, just a heads up. But make sure you guys are smacking that like button, smacking that subscribe button, and let's go ahead and talk about what I want to talk about in today's video. So you guessed it, the topic at hand is Final Fantasy XIV coming to the Xbox One. Is it possible? Could it ever happen? Will it ever happen? I'm going to be honest with you guys. One reason this has crossed my mind a ton is because, as you guys know, for probably the past 2 years now, I've spent a good amount of time boasting a lot about the Xbox platform with its with a lot of its cross syncing with PC, a lot of cross-play ability they've been doing, a lot of this, friendly stuff with developers and things like that. And as you guys know, recently Xbox has been acquiring a lot from Square Enix. If you haven't heard, they recently got the whole Final Fantasy XIII series backwards compatible. They're getting Kingdom Hearts 3. A lot of the other Final Fantasy games and remakes are coming to the Xbox platform around the springtime of this year. That includes Final Fantasy X and X-2 remakes. The Final Fantasy IX PC port is also coming to Xbox One. The Final Fantasy VII PC port's coming to Xbox One. And there's, just a lot of Final Fantasy related stuff coming to Xbox One. Well, as you guys know, there's still one big Final Fantasy title missing on the Xbox. And that's good old Final Fantasy XIV A Realm Reborn, which is actually a very popular MMO on console and PC, crossplay right now with PC and PS4, and it's probably the best MMO you can get on console. However, it is a subscription-based MMO similar to World of Warcraft. This game is going to run you a base price for $59.99, then roughly $13 to $18 USD a month, depending on what service package you pick and all that stuff. But it is a very, very solid game. I definitely have to say, it was my first MMO that I personally played. I started playing it on PS3, and it's probably one of the best MMO experiences I've had to date. Don't get me wrong, I have my differences, I have my gripes with Final Fantasy XIV, but hands down, it is probably the most impressive MMO on console and the best bang for your buck, regardless of it being subscription based. But we have two platforms that are missing this game. The Xbox One and, of course, the new Nintendo Switch, which is here now. They haven't got their chance to adapt with it either. And the Nintendo Switch actually, is no stranger to the Final Fantasy titles. The Switch, however, it just entered the battle arena roughly 2 years ago. So my guess is Square Enix hasn't even really had time to consider that with them. But there was a point in time where people were saying that Final Fantasy XIV couldn't come to the Xbox One because before Phil Spencer had gotten charged, the last guy who was in charge, I guess had rejected it or wasn't keen of it or something like that. I don't know the story, and I honestly couldn't find too many articles on it, so I don't want to talk too much about something that I don't really know. But all I know is that before Spencer got in office, there were complications about the game coming to the Xbox One. Well, now that Spencer is Mr. Multi-platform and developer friendly and stuff like that, what's going on with Final Fantasy XIV coming to the Xbox One now? Has Square Enix tried to reconsider things with Microsoft? Do they want to start a whole separate version of it between Xbox and Windows 10? I mean, those are all different possibilities. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to talk to you guys about a little article that I've got here from WCCF Tech, which is a very, very reliable source. We've brought it here many times on the channel. I'll leave a link to the article down in the description below for you guys to read, and we'll see what they say about it, because they've actually got to interview one of the directors at Square Enix. It says Square Enix is actually still discussing Final Fantasy XIV on Switch and Xbox One with cross-platform play. Final Fantasy XIV is still going strong after its original release, with Square Enix continuing to support its MMORPG with new content, but it would be going stronger with the release on other platforms. While there's no announcement, it seems like Square Enix is continuing to discuss the possibility. Now keep in mind, guys, this article is from June of 2018, and I'll get to why June is so important in a minute. It says, speaking with VGR, Final Fantasy XIV director Naoki Yoshida confirmed that discussions are happening about bringing the game to the Nintendo Switch and Xbox One with cross-platform play with PC and PlayStation 4. While we know discussions are already happening about other platforms, I want to know if there was any update that Yoshida could give us. He noted that they want as many to play as possible. Discussions are still ongoing with all three publishers, Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo, to see if the game can come to Xbox One Switch with crossplay with the PC and PS4 versions. Yoshida noted that he hopes he can announce something as soon as we can. So, there you guys have it, the words from the Square Enix director for Final Fantasy XIV himself. Now, while the discussions are probably ongoing because, crossplay, especially with PlayStation, is, it's a really controversial topic, to say the least. I will give Sony credit. Over the past year, they have gotten a lot better on their stance with it. For those who don't know, they eased up with it with Fortnite. Fortnite is part of their cross-platform beta tests that they're doing. So Fortnite can cross-platform with every gaming platform out. And also, if you don't know, Rocket League was also recently added to that beta. So now you can play Rocket League between Xbox One, PS4, and Nintendo Switch. And I think Rocket League's on PC as well. If I'm not sure if it is or not, so don't quote me on that. But Sony's been doing better. But if you look at this pattern, look at this trend, one thing that has been going with it is some of the most popular games are the ones that Sony's accepting into the program. Well, if you do the math here, and Final Fantasy XIV being roughly around 14 or 15 million players at this current time, because I do believe around 2017, 2018, it was around that 12, 13 million mark. It could be a little bit higher, so if I'm wrong or off with those numbers, please forgive me. But Final Fantasy XIV would seem to be a likely addition to that beta program, and not to mention how close Square Enix is with Sony. Because let's face it, Final Fantasy titles, they've all mainly been on the PlayStation platform. I think Square Enix probably has a better relationship with PlayStation than anybody. If anyone could get a game to be fully cross-platform play on their console with other publishers, it would definitely be Square Enix. Now, on the other hand, right, what if this doesn't work? Are there any other options out there for Xbox One and Nintendo Switch? This is one of my personal ideas. I personally think that if Sony denies it, they could always go the route of making the Xbox One version a Windows 10 specific version, so that way there's another PC option, and a Nintendo Switch version, like PS4, and I believe Final Fantasy XIV is on Steam. If it's not, please forgive me. I know you either get it through Steam or through its store online, through its own launcher. I'm not completely sure about that, but let's say it is on Steam. The PS4 and Steam could be one version of 14. Then Xbox One, Windows 10, and Nintendo Switch could be another version of Final Fantasy XIV. And you just pick, between, out of all the consoles your friends have and stuff like that, which side would be better. Now, in a perfect world, we want them all on the same server to be cross-play with each other. That's personally what I would like to see. I'm all for that, as you guys know. But I'm just saying that that other option is also out there. So if Sony were, God forbid, to deny this notion, that would be an option. Now, if you don't know, Final Fantasy XIV also has an upcoming expansion coming this June called Shadowbringers. And that's another thing I wanted to bring to you guys' this attention. WCC F-Tech, they recently followed up with Square Enix last June. And if you don't know, things with Final Fantasy XIV always happen in the summer in June. Like when Stormblood came out, that was in June. When the Final Fantasy XIV beta had first started, that was in June. When Heaven's Ward had launched, that was also in June. Well, my guess, since Shadowbringers is due to come out this year, Shadowbringers will probably launch in June, which is also the time of E3. Don't you think a really good E3 surprise for Microsoft and Square Enix to do would be to launch a full-on version of Final Fantasy XIV for multiple consoles? Or if you know Square Enix attends E3 themselves, which I'm pretty sure they will be. I haven't heard they're not anyway. They could announce, their newest version of 14 coming to Xbox One or even, Nintendo Switch, both consoles as well. Now, however they decide to do that is completely up to them. Like, I just wanted, to explore this realm of possibilities, guys, put some of this stuff, into discussion. I know it's very, very far-fetched, but there's just, there's a lot of things that have been adding up, and, the more compatibility that Xbox gets with things like crossplay, mouse and keyboard usage, and things like that, it's becoming more and more likely that they'll be able to be compatible with, just more things, work with more developers and stuff like that. Remember, the biggest complaint about Xbox One is the lack of exclusives, lack of games, all that fun stuff. Well, Phil Spencer, everything he's been doing to try and spin that around has been working. Acquiring new studios, as you guys can see, Xbox is getting a boatload of Final Fantasy titles. They're also getting their first Kingdom Hearts game ever. Why would it seem really impossible for Final Fantasy XIV to come to the Xbox One platform? And especially if if Sony decides to be friendly about it and it's a cross-play version between all four major platforms right now, that's a win-win for everybody. But anyway, guys, I just wanted to bring up this video and speculate. Leave your thoughts down in the comments below. But anyway, if y'all enjoyed this video, smash that thumbs up button for me. And I wanted to thank you all so much for watching. It's your boy Tanek127. And please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Till next time, peace out. Take care.